What makes me proud to be LGBT? What makes me most proud is that I can live authentically. The really, really hard part was coming out being trans, but the community's always held me, and the fact that we can push back against established ideas about how we're supposed to live as men or women or people that are outside the gender binary, that's what makes me so proud.
Yeah, I agree. I think resilience is something I'm proud of as well, of being LGBT. As you said, the norms and expectations of how to be and how to act is kind of like putting those aside and listening to yourself.
What makes me proud is our resilience, that in spite of all of the struggles, all of the loss that we've experienced, either through the HIV epidemic or through violence, both on a micro level, but also state-sponsored violence, we survive and we bounce back and we party and we live and we love. And that shows real strength.
What makes me proud to be LGBT plus is, again, the resilience, like you mentioned, but also the shared sense of belonging.
What makes me proud to be LGBT plus is always an interesting question. Our history of activism, of creativity, that we show up in so many places. We are everywhere, which I think is really important.
I'm in a genderqueer family. I'm in sort of a, queer family structure, even though I look like a middle-class white lady who's married to a man and raising 2 children. And I kind of, it's interesting because that mirrors how I grew up, right? Like, I'm just, I'm passing. I've been passing for my whole life. And so what's important to me is to be able to go to Pride and, bring a girlfriend home or talk to my kids openly about, my sexual identity, what their choices are, all of that.
When I started passing, let's say full-time as a man, I resolved myself for a long while that I was just going to be stealth, as we call it. I wasn't going to tell anybody. I wanted to live my life like anybody else and keep it to myself. And I eventually realized after about a year of doing that being like everybody else and living a happy life was not necessarily keeping that to myself. Actually, I was a lot happier not being secretive, not even necessarily being so loud and proud, not that I'm not always, but to just be open whenever the time called for it.
What makes me proud to be LGBT plus is always an interesting question. Our history of activism, of creativity, that we show up in so many places. We are everywhere, which I think is really important.
So what do you love about being LGBTQ+?
I think for me, a trans person, I really love my community and how they've made me into the person I am today. Obviously, with things like culture and religion, I've struggled to find solace in my family and friends. So having a group of friends who are similar to me, who can understand me or can relate to me, it has made my life a lot easier and has brought a lot of joy to my life and has enabled me to just be myself in front of people.
Amazing. What I love about being LGBT plus is friendships, community, love, all those things that we all need and we should have access to. And as I've said before, it's given me the chance to live authentically.
That is one of the things that I am proud of with regards to my being LGBT plus is the journey, which we use that word again, that it has brought with it in terms of being at peace with myself, not as somebody who needs to be on the front lines, not as somebody who needs to be hidden away, but just as I am.
And I'm also really proud that we keep coming. There's no stopping us. We keep coming, we keep developing, evolving, and we're out there. And I think that's just a wonderful, beautiful thing.